Hey guys, Coach Hunter here, coming at you today with Grappling Fundamentals 2. Today we're talking about the fundamental movements of grappling. So some of these movements are going to seem strange. They're not going to make a lot of sense outside of context. If you know kind of grappling, you might see, oh yeah, I know what that is or why we do that. We're not going to talk too much today about the context or the usage of these movements, but I want you to have these movements here, and it's a good idea if you want to get like a leg up on grappling to just to practice these movements. Even if you like, what I don't know why this is used or what this is for, that's totally fine. It'll come to you, it'll make sense later. Getting fluid and getting good at these movements will really help. Plus, you do each of these movements, just string them together, 30 seconds, a minute. Just do them all back to back. It's a pretty good workout, actually. I'm sure I'll be out of breath by the end of this because I want to kind of go through these pretty quickly. So starting with the break fall, guys. The break fall is one I will talk about because it is the most important skill, I think, in all of martial arts to master. Falling down is the most dangerous thing we do in our homes, statistically. It's also the thing that is almost certainly going to happen to us. You may not ever get into a fight, but you almost certainly will fall. So it's really important that we get good at learning how to fall safely. The main thing we want to avoid is our head hitting the ground. That can be deadly right there, full stop. Okay, so we need to make sure that our head is not going to hit the ground. To do that, we're going to tuck our chin. Okay, we're going to keep our chin tucked throughout the whole movement. So if you feel your head touching the ground when we're practicing, we got to fix that. So keep our chin tucked. I'm going to bend my knees. My arms stay inside the right at all times because that's the next easiest way to hurt yourself. Just put your hand out and try to stop yourself. I've seen broken wrists. I've seen separated shoulders. It's just bad news, okay? So guys, I'm going to bend my knees, tuck my chin, sit down and fall backwards. I sit and I slap the mat. My hands slapping the mat does two things. It helps diffuse the impact of falling, but it also trains my hands to have something to do other than trying to stop myself, which we call posting, putting your hand back and posting, okay? So sitting down, chin tucked, falling back, and slapping the mat. Do a few more reps, you can see it. All right, guys, next movement, bridging. So guys, really important, my toes are engaged to the mat. I'm lifting my hips as high as I can go, and generally I'm gonna bridge to one shoulder, okay? So I'm lifting my hips, bridging to the other shoulder. I'm not gonna reach. You see some wrestling programs teach us reach. I think it's a bad habit for grappling. So we're just gonna bridge. Sit out, reverse sit out. Coming to our either hands and my feet, guys. My hands and my knees, or my knees and my elbows. I generally think it's easiest to start with your hands and feet because you have the most room. We can play with all of those options. I'm gonna bring one of my feet through between the opposite hand and foot, advancing my hips forward as I sit down, okay? Sit out to either side. We also have a reverse sit out where I bring from this position, I'm bringing my hips back through to the other side. So sit out, reverse sit out. Sit out, reverse sit out. For my knees. For my knees and elbows. Same thing. So guys, sprawling is bringing my hips to the mat. Really important to understand, and this can be done from the feet, can be done from low, it doesn't really matter. Okay, I'll show it from the feet. My hands go straight down, my legs go backwards. From the side here, I'm not gonna fall forward and sprawl. I'm gonna come back. So my hips drop to the mat, and so my hips stay facing down. I'm not turning my hips to the side. Okay, it's an important reason we won't get into right now, but still drop my hips. I have one foot up. Okay.
step over.
So, anytime, I can be anywhere really, anytime one leg is stepping over the other leg, it's a step over, okay? Often we do this in the context of a sit out. So I sit out, then I step over. Sit out, step over. Sit out, step over.
Back step.
In the same sense, guys. Now, anytime my leg goes over, going backwards of another leg. So I'm stepping backwards, big back step from one side. I can reverse it out. So back step, reverse it out.
Forward roll.
So forward roll, guys. So I'm bringing my shoulders to the mat, turning my head away, making sure my head isn't really making any significant contact with the mat. So I'm not doing like a traditional somersault going over my head. Instead, I turn my head, shoulder to the mat, my head comes away, my hand can roll palm up, is my kind of preferred method. Here to the mat, using my feet to push and roll through. Granby roll. So this one, guys, leaning forward, hands behind me, and roll sideways, not back, not forward, to the side. Really important to stack my hips over my shoulders, so I'm getting kind of upside down here. Oh, we get the backwards roll. So, backwards roll, guys. Throw my legs up and over one shoulder to the other. I'm combining that with a forward roll so I can reset. Now, the shrimp. I'm on my back, my toes are engaged to the mat. I'm gonna start by bridging. So this is where you start putting these movements together, okay? I'm pivoting on my shoulder, extending my legs, my hips come back. I end up in this position where my legs are straight, I'm kind of bent over at the waist, and I'm on my side, okay? Lifting my hips, turning, extending my legs, boom. Okay, really important. I'm not just sliding my hips across the mat. Okay, I'm just kind of sliding. Okay, we want to make sure we get as much air as possible underneath this heel. There's all the space underneath my hip. My hips are almost turned down to face the mat. Yeah, it's really ideal for our shrimp.
Forward and reverse shrimp.
So we already did the kind of the shrimp. Now we're going to do the reverse, or it's also called a forward shrimp because I'm moving forward instead of backward. But I'm going to start basically where I did at the end of the shrimp. Okay, so I'm reversing the movement. I'm going to go to my back as I pull my tailbone to my heels with my toes. So now I'm shrimping, reverse shrimp, shrimp, reverse shrimp, shrimp, reverse shrimp.
Stand in base.
So I did this one with the break fall already. Okay, if I'm on my butt or on my back, either way, I have one foot on the mat, opposite hand. So left foot, right hand. One hand is available to protect my head or get grips, okay, grabbing something or just blocking. My other leg's kicking and or creating space, or just is available to lift my hips. I'm gonna step down, back underneath me, and stand up. Okay, you can break, fall down.
Isn't that also called a combat base?
No.
Bridge to turtle.
So, I'm gonna combine some of the movements we did earlier. I bridge to one side, my bottom is connected to the mat, is gonna sweep the mat coming through. Now I can either step over or step under, okay? So if I step over, my top leg is gonna step over my bottom leg, and I'm gonna pull my knee to my chest. Really important to do it this way. If I go long, staying here, I'm gonna fall belly flat as I go to my belly. It's not desirable. I have to then pull myself up. With someone on top of me, that's gonna be hard. So, I bridge and sweep the mat, step over, pulling my knee to my chest. Come here now to my turtle position. Okay, where I'm on my knees, on my elbows, covering my hands as well. We just call this a turtle position. I can also just think about sitting to my butt and recycling if I want to keep practicing this. Sweep the mat on my bottom arm, stepping over, knee to chest, in my turtle position. You can also forward roll to return to your original position to reset. Okay, you can also step under. My bottom leg steps through, like so.
Hip extension, hip up.
So, I'm gonna roll back onto my shoulders. My hips are gonna extend to the ceiling. Get out a twist. I swear that's me and my back on the mat, guys. You can also add a triangle of the legs.
Hip thrusts.
I'm gonna pull one of my heels into my tailbone or the other. I'm gonna come forward, rolling up onto my shin and my knee and my foot. So this position is also called combat base. Right here. Pushing my feet, rolling up, my hip thruster coming up.
You have to admit it looks very similar to the other
It
one.
does, yeah. It's slightly different though. And there's a lot of terminology that's thrown around, especially in these videos where I'm doing a lot of them.
Very similar movement though,
They are.
except that you're standing on the other.
Exactly. Now, I could stand up here as well, but it's a different movement. So a lot of times in grappling, we have different movements for different different endpoints for different reasons. If you need to at first, you can always use your hand to help push you up, because that from getting from here to here, it takes a lot of core strength. So if you need to at first, you're like, can't get anywhere. Use your hand to help propel you up.
Shot
Here.
footwork.
So right from here, guys, I'm gonna change levels, taking a step in, driving my knees straight down over my toes to the mat. I'm just gonna change direction so I don't go too far out of frame.
You were fine. I had it.
Now you do. You're a good camera person.
I'm free.
Also helps. Change levels, stepping in. Make sure it's really important I'm driving my weight directly, my knee directly over my toes. If I need to, if it's a little bit much for your knee, or you just want some kind of safety training wheels, think about taking your hand on the outside, bring it down to the mat to take some weight off your knee. Okay? I'd rather my weight fall outside than inside. If you want, you can put both hands down. So you put both hands to the mat. Let's come through. But ideally, you're only going to need one. Do that a couple times. All right, guys. So if you like this video, go ahead and make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for all of our content, and as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you on the mats.